Has this ever happened to you? You tell someone about a product or a business and all of a sudden you see ads for it everywhere. It's those experiences that make many people wonder, are our phones spying on us? I asked local marketing professional Giselle Ugarte that question tonight. So let's just go right out the gate. Are our phones spying on us, Giselle?
You know, as a marketer and as someone who loves technology and social media, I'd almost prefer to use the word looking out instead of spying. But yes, it's absolutely true. If your phone is turned completely off, then no, or at least we'd like to think not. However, most of us rarely ever turn our phones off. And so, in some capacity, whether it's because you have your apps open or your phone simply turned on, your phone is constantly monitoring you and collecting information about you that, quite frankly, actually enhances the user experience of a lot of the different apps that we use. And also, truth be told, in many cases, a lot of the apps that we use frequently, they ask us to agree and accept community guidelines and terms and conditions that actually tell you exactly the type of information that is being collected about you, whether it is your microphone or if it is your location or if it is what you are typing. So yeah, honestly, it is spying on you.
And the apps specifically, how are they able to access that information? You mentioned the microphone among some other things.
Exactly. And also the fact that so often they are asking us permission and we are granting them permission because naively at this point, we would rather have the convenience of accessing a certain app or using the full features of it than even thinking about the fact that perhaps that information could be used against us. But again, like I said, as a marketer, this is something that I actually find more convenient. So rather than you being served random ads all the time, you're instead being served ads that you actually enjoy. And so one of the ways that they do that, the microphone, we talked about that. Also, in some cases, apps like Facebook and TikTok, they will also pay attention to the types of comments that you are leaving on pictures or posts, conversations that you are having in your direct messages, your private messages. There are actually some apps that will serve you ads inside of your messages or even your email box. And the list goes on and on and on. And in some cases, you are notified. For example, you might notice that when you are searching on Google or in any search bar for that matter, you might get asked a question: is it okay if we use your microphone? Is it okay if we track your location? And more oftentimes than not, we're saying, sure, why not?
Yeah, and then we're seeing the results of it.
Location-based ads is something that we particularly at Media Bridge, we love that because it does allow for us to have more targeted ads, perhaps based on location. And all around construction, for example, is one of those places where if there is a huge storm in a certain area, they want to be the ones to come to the rescue if perhaps there are people in need of getting their homes fixed.
So all of this information now is raising that question of convenience versus privacy. So how do consumers kind of weigh that choice there?
I don't think there's really a lot of weighing happening. In our heads, we want to say, well, absolutely, privacy, security, yes. However, you're right in that oftentimes the convenience outweighs that, in that, for example, you are getting served ads that are actually providing products that you really do need and at a certain time. For example, I'm moving and all of my ads that are being served have everything to do with finding movers, getting security, finding furniture. And so a lot of my guesswork, where previously I would have had to go to a bajillion different stores, I'm being given actual suggestions that I would want to use. And so with that, that's one of the trade-offs. But for those who are particularly concerned about your privacy and your security, you can always look at those community guidelines, those terms and conditions. Granted, they are updated constantly and sometimes without our notice, but you could also potentially turn your microphone off, turn your camera off, make sure that the apps aren't tracking your location, or perhaps using more private, secure browsers for the sake of making sure that your experience is as secure as it possibly can be.
Seeing as most often people are either on their phones, on a tablet, on a computer, does it appear as though digital advertising might even replace other forms of advertising, since that's where our eyeballs are mostly focused?
It definitely will continue to evolve, and this will be the new norm as we are continuing to find more ways to target the right people. But traditional advertising will absolutely never die, and that is something that Media Bridge is rooted in. And so if anything, what we are seeing because of everything COVID is that sure, there are dollars that are being spent more so in the digital space. However, we are having people that are starting to go back to work now. I noticed the other day that for the first time I experienced rush hour for the first time in a while. And so people are in the car. We believe in radio, we believe in billboards, getting as many touch points as possible. But also, one thing that I will add, Jeff, is that our TVs are getting smarter. And so, even though we believe in TV advertising as well, more and more people are having smart TVs or smart cable boxes. And so, with that, similar to how you are in your tablet, your phone, or your browser, your experience is going to be syncing up from location to location, including perhaps your TV that is streamed to the internet or streamed from the internet.
Okay. Well, Giselle, thank you for helping us understand how our phones are keeping an eye on us and the things we might want to click on or buy in the future, and also maybe how to avoid some of those things. We appreciate that.